What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be reviewing round 11 Port Adelaide versus Richmond, which ended up being a Port Adelaide win by 21 points at the Adelaide Oval in front of 10,000 people, who I tell you what were very, very vocal yesterday, and was such a great performance to see from the boys to stand up in that pressure, stand up in a big game like it was, and to deliver a performance like that is so satisfying to us as fans, but also to the football world, because that was the game of the year. Comparing the rest of the season, nothing beats what happened yesterday. Both teams were at it, both teams had the pressure, and both teams just provided a spectacle that we know why we love footy, and that was a game that provided that substance right there. So a massive game for review. So let's get straight into it and look and see exactly what happened for round 11. How good was that, Port fans? I mean, I couldn't unfortunately watch the game due to playing footy myself, but I saw glimpses of the second half, and just watching the replay this morning, I was just thinking to myself, holy moly, this has become a juggernaut. We have become such a different side to what it was over the 12 months ago. You know, with just the way we hunt, the way we are playing this attacking style of football, but the pressure was on. Like, we applied so much pressure to the ball carrier from the start. We were able to get centre clearances. We were beating Dusty at his own game at some stages as well, especially early on. And to have a fast start for 4 goals to nothing, we could have been 6 or 7 goals up with a couple of sitters that we had. Just shows how much a performance like that can provide such a different look at Port Adelaide. Like, there's so many people that still think, yeah, nah, Port Adelaide aren't the real deal. After yesterday's performance, if you don't think Port Adelaide's a real deal, Port Adelaide supporter or not, then I think you don't quite understand the dynamic of this group at the moment and how well they are performing, because they are playing some damn good football. And with teams dropping games they shouldn't, and you know they're not playing 4 quarters every single week, to be playing 4 or 5 day breaks and play 4 games in 2 weeks. Port Adelaide has played 4 games in 2 weeks, and don't take away the fact that Richmond also had a 4-day break after this. They still put out a performance like that. Showcases how much these players are putting in the effort and the constant drive to bring us football. They're putting in performances like that, and when you look at Port Adelaide, I remember what Koshy said back in 2013, bringing the fun back to footy. That's exactly what we are doing at the moment. It's so enjoyable to watch our side. Yeah, it gets frustrating when teams shut us down and we're not quite taking our chances in front of goal, and we go through the emotions and roller coaster that we have every single game. That's every performance you see. But when you scale it back and you're sitting there and you're watching your team play footy, you're just enjoying Port Adelaide play. And it's why some people, you know, they're locked down and they can't exactly enjoy football. They can't go watch their team. To watch a team like Port Adelaide, I think every football fan would say that it's just enjoyable to watch Port Adelaide. It's enjoyable to watch Richmond, Brisbane, West Coast. You know, these types of teams are putting in performances that, even if this was a normal season, it'd stack up at the end of the year. So, to put yesterday's game into perspective as a whole, shows there is a high-class level of footy still being played. And to have a scoreline like that in shortened quarters and in a pressurised game, you can't fault it. Best game of the year. Some individual performances to look at, and my man Travis Boak right there, you know, 31 touches. He was great around the ball. He's just a clearance king, isn't he? He's just able to hunt that footy. His uncontested work is sensational. Just his work rate around the ground to provide another option, and his smartness now. I've noticed he's picked up a lot of, you know, he's able to take a half a second longer and just pinpoint a better option while going through the corridor. It wasn't that second quarter where he hit Wines and Butters and then we end up kicking a goal. Or then you have, you know, there's an instance in the first quarter where he's coming down the wing and he's able to just stop, turn around and, you know, reutilise that corridor a lot more. And, you know, just those types of performances you don't see too often, and he's just getting better with age. And it's just sensational to see how much he's growing as a footballer into his later stages of his career. And it combines with the work of Ollie Wines as well. His last month of football has been exceptional. You know, he's had 23 contested possessions yesterday out of his 27 disposals. That's enormous. He kicked a crucial goal in the third quarter from the contest, which, you know, we don't see too often as much anymore from Ollie or those types of players. Normally, you know, we get an inside 50 and that's how we create our chances. But to have a contested goal like that, it just sets the tone. And Ollie set the tone the last month. His tackling pressure is enormous. His ball use has actually improved so much. It was at 92% yesterday, which for Ollie Wines is almost unheard of on most occasions. So to see that and just see these types of performances, it's just exceptional. And it combines with the likes of Power Pepper, Butters, Amon, Dersma. You know, they're coming through as a group and they're just putting in performances, and to put the pressure out like they did, it's just exceptional. And then the one thing that we were all curious about was the two rucks, Lysette and Laddams. And you could tell Lysette was working himself into the game, and he did it very nicely. He was able to beat Soldo and Chol quite easily in the end, every time he was in there just about. And Laddams is, his movement across the ground is he just glides. He provides another option. He's a great second tool down forward for when a resting ruckman goes there. You know, and just the way he uses the ball, the way he provides pressure, his tackling's elite. His ruck work is still improving, which is great. You know, that's the last thing that usually comes to a ruckman, is their ability to be smart with their taps, smart with the way they use their body. And you know, in those contests, especially in the centre clearances, you develop that, you know, as long as you can, because it's just a craft you just have to build. But everything else he's got down packed. You know, as I said, skills, his pressure, his tackling, his smarts, and that goal he kicked in the first quarter. No ruckman does that. Not early on in the game. A banana from the outside of his left foot, tight angle with pressure around him. He's got so many options inside, and he goes for a goal and he kicks it. It's just extraordinary the way these youngsters are coming through. And look, credit to Richmond, because seriously, they brought the heat all day. That last quarter, I think that 4-day break caught up to them, because they just faded away and couldn't handle the early on pressure, and they had a little bit of mind lapses here and there, especially with Josh Caddy's 100 metre penalty ended up being. So just those little lapses for the Tigers just didn't quite work their way, and I think the 4-day break caught up with that. But yeah, they brought the pressure, and every time Port kicked away, they'd respond, and we handled it, but we also crumbled a little bit. And just the way it was finals footy, you know, you work your way back into the game, and then the opposition goes at it again, and just it's these different bursts. And Richmond had that, and they were just exceptional to watch. It was just very nice to beat them at the Adelaide Oval, because it just brings back memories of, you know, 2014 and all that stuff, you know. But yeah, I'm just mesmerised by the game. And then Charlie Dixon's goal. That's exceptional. Like, you don't do that as a big man. Couldn't kick one 10 metres in front, but he kicks a goal from the boundary line 25 metres out on a wrong side banana. Yeah, you don't do that. I think one of the other things as well is the crowd. As I mentioned, you know, 10,000 people, they made so much noise, and you don't need artificial noise to make 10,000 people sound louder, because Port fans, you are so loud. And I was actually so jealous seeing 10,000 people there and couldn't be attending with, you know, obviously other commitments. But yeah, just a fantastic day of football, fantastic for Port Adelaide, and it just cements ourselves as a contender now. The pretender tag's gone. We are contenders for this year. I can actually say that. We are contenders. I'm not saying flag favourites, because it's just an unpredictable season. We're a contender. And I love the sound of Port Adelaide being in the contender category, because we're here now, and I think people should start taking notice. Well, Port fans, that wraps up this round 11 review of Port Adelaide versus Richmond. 21 points, top of the ladder. A game ahead of Brisbane with 6 games to go. We've all just cemented ourselves now just about. And Geelong next week, we got a bit of a break, 6-day break. Friday night footy at Metricon. Another performance ready to come on board. So let's do it. I can't wait to see you then. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content coming your way across the season. My name is Anthony, and as always, come the pair.